Hey YouTube, what's going on? ZeroMagnumX here. So I went to my local game shop. For me it's local. It's about I'd say an hour and 15 minutes away, roughly. And I took Dimension Police with me. I was unsure. I put the deck kind of together beforehand and found my DaiEarth there, got the pieces I needed, and ended up going 3-1 in the Swiss rounds and ended up beating the deck that I lost to in the Swiss rounds, which is a Nova Grappler deck, and then making it to top 2, splitting because we had to go, and because Kitmits89 had to go to work because she works overnight. So I'm going to feature the deck I used, talk a little bit about Dimension Police, and hopefully you guys enjoy this video of justice. So thumbs up. Thank you for watching this, and thank you for the support. First off, we have 4 DaiEarth. I think the reason you want to run 4 of him is because where X-Tiger is good, you need DaiEarth. He only gets a critical if you have 2 Dimension Police, so generally I only ever used him like once. The call is usually enough one time to battle. That's why I use him, is because it just gets you free units. If they attack you rear guards, they just wasted resources. You land him, and then you can go in. He's decently big, a generic stride. I think he is very good. Probably the best stride, the best card out of the set. Next up, we have X-Tiger to help flip him over. So you go X-Tiger into DaiEarth. And we run 3 X-Tiger. I do have 4 if I switch that over to 3 DaiEarth and 4 X-Tiger, depending on what I feel like. And finally, 1 Dark Superhuman Omega. This card is bonkers. It is potentially the best card in the set. It combats for DaiEarth, but I think DaiEarth is just a little bit better because it gives you free pluses. But Omega won me so many games, it was ridiculous, including the Nova mirror match, which I never used Omega in our Swiss round game, and then I did in the top 4 match, and it decimated. It just made it so the opponent could not guard, and it racked up the damage. It was phenomenal all the way through. This card is fantastic. So get your play sets now. If this card gets out and gets noticed, it's going to shoot up in value, I'm sure. Okay, now we're going to go on to the main deck. We have DaiShoot. I never liked him, to be honest with you, and I think I just would have... I wanted Magnum. DaiMagnum, it gives your Vanguard 4000. That would have been, I think, useful, because all I ended up doing was using this guy for his 4K power boost, because he generally never hit. So, if you got DaiMagnum, I'd use him. Alright, now we're going to go on to the grade 3s. I run 4 True DaiKaiser. And I think this deck can be modified and updated. This is not a perfect deck. I'm gotta say that now. Even though it made it into the top 2 out of a 4-round tournament, and which is locals, and then made it in the split, it still could be tweaked. Only 2 Dayusha. I never want to ride this guy because you have no way to Soul Blast in this deck. So I never want to ride this guy, like, ever. Besides Omega. So it's very hard to get him online for Legions and everything else unless you have Omega and you can push early. Okay, so Vanguard is going to take some explaining. I like it and I don't. I like it because it lets you find True DaiKaiser, but I don't like it because it does not work with DaiJet. So that matters because it does say Dimensional Robo on DaiJet, and that's very important card text. I think making these the original DaiKaiser or making them DaiArts, because DaiArt is a perfectly fine card with the Limit Break Enabler. It lets you get your Dimensional Robo quota for your skill, and it lets you move into a position where if you have that, you just instantly go and find your Legion. So I think these would just be better as DaiArts. So 2 of them. 1 Great DaiKaiser, because I only own 1, unfortunately. I whenever there was a high price and blah blah blah, I got rid of mine when they peaked and they came back down. He's cool, but I think the Legion and the strides are enough now where this is a good card and I enjoy it, but I'd only ever run 2 of it, I think. So if I get another one, I'll put it in. If not, I have DaiEarth here, who was fantastic for the most part. Lets you put certain triggers in, lets you put certain grade 1s, which I'll show you in, and so on. And yeah, there's 10 grade 3s in here. Okay, then we have d-robo DaiJet. This card is amazing. It gives you a bonus power boost. It gives you a skill. It made it so my strides generically, at least DaiEarth was plus 4,000, so it was always a good card to have. So it's one of the better cards, and it surprised me for how good it was. So we run 4 of that guy. Okay, Kagero was a very phenomenal card. With Stride, it's a lot weaker now. Because typically speaking, in the New Dimension Police deck, you're going to be striding after your ride almost immediately, unless you cannot. Then you're just going to be pushing Legion, and the 5k boost is nice, but it's not as important as it was. I think I would just make it more of these guys, and maybe find a better grade 2. If DaiBeret is grade 2, maybe him. So for just more generic boosts and so on, and the ability to retire if you're in Legion, so you can do it late game and then build up the soul. But definitely would run 4 DaiJets. That card was really good as well over the Kaiser's. I do run 2 DaiJets as the last 2 grade 2s. Only 10 grade 2s in this deck, folks, which is different for me because I'm tried and true to 14, 11, and 8, or 14, 12, and 8, 14, 12, and 7 is what I do. So piloting this deck was different, but I never felt like I was at a significant disadvantage with the grade 3s. I think 10 is the right number for this kind of deck. Alright, grade 1s, we have 4 Cosmic Hero Vanguard. I think you need this card in New Dimension Police decks. It's the only way we can unflip and get our abilities again. And that mattered in the games I played. So we have 4 of that guy, 4 die line. This card is incredible. It overperformed in every single game I played. It always had a significance, and it let me have limit break early because I would find it or open with it. It's all around awesome, and it lets me play how I play, which is very defensive. I don't like taking damage really at all, unless I'm letting hits happen on purpose so I can use counterblasts for things like DaiEarth or for things like Omega. So 4 of this guy. If you're not running 4, I hate to tell you, you're probably now playing D-robos the wrong way. Alright, we have DaiTiger. He's cool. I don't know if I'd like something else in his spot. He's your generic 10k attacker. Whenever you stride, he's not as strong. If you're going into Omega or if you're going into X-Tiger. So he's okay. So I only run 3 of this guy. And then I run DaiBrave because this card's really good for your limit break with DaiEarth. And that's the grade 1s. There's 13 of them. Yes, there's no Laurel. I got rid of my Laurels when it peaked. And really, I'm not the Laurel kind of player. Like, I don't like stands in Dimension Police. I prefer crits, maybe, and draws. Draws helped out a lot. I like just straight up powerful good card advantage. And then, so we run 4 draws, 4 heal, and 8 crit. So that's the deck, folks. And like I said, the changes I'd probably make is the grade 3 lineup. Run DaiEarth. That card is really good with DaiLion. And I would max these out at 4 if you can, because they're really, really good. They just always allow you to attack. They're 9Ks, which is fine and acceptable in Vanguard, or they're 12Ks, and they just overperform at that point whenever you have D-robos in your Vanguard circle. or YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this deck profile of Justice, and please remember to comment, favorite, subscribe, and like. Peace, YouTube, and have a good one. Later, everybody.